Kialo. And you are?
And I'm Masi Masika.
All right, the lovely songbird. You know what? She is so good that I want her to welcome us to our Friday briefing bulletin with a high, lovely note. Because I know you can hit those ones.
Okay, okay.
Give us one. Let's warm up.
All right. You copy me. You say, yeah. Say that.
Yeah. No. You want to embarrass me. You do it. You go,
I do it
girl.
in my songs, eh?
Yeah.
Nasiwezijizuia kusema wako wema na sio kama najigamba umenitenda mema umekuwa mwema kwangu.
Wow. I cannot even do that.
Yeah, you can't.
Let me see. Let me try.
Okay.
I love your songs, by the way. I'm so excited to have you. I feel like a little child. So there's this song I love, Milele.
Yes.
Nataka kukaa na wewe. Sing with me. Siku za maisha yangu. Nataka we nikuimbie Baba. Milele hata milele. Milele. Welcome to KTM Friday Briefing. I'm very happy to have you tonight in studio. I mean, she has done amazing songs, and I'm sure most of you know her very lovely songs, Mwema and my favorite, Milele, among others, that she sang also in Kikamba. And she is our guest anchor. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
I think you should read the intro and sing it. Not even read it, sing it to us.
I sing it.
You sing it to us.
Okay.
All right.
Where
so
is
she's no, it's coming, not now. Okay. She's too fast. Well, we have a great show lined up for you. If you have any questions for Masi Masika, you can tweet us. The hashtag, of course, is Friday Briefing, or the number is 22155, along with any other interaction that you'd want to give us. Well, my name is Betty Kialo. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yes, I did.
You did.
All right, and let's begin with the highlights.
Within the next 40 days from the date hereof, to prepare the relevant bills for tabling before Parliament for purposes of implementation of Articles 27, Sub-Article 8 and 81B of the Constitution.
The court ruling is just very fair, because justice delayed is justice denied.
You have failed the country. Judge tells Ngilu Muigai as she rules gender law must be prepared.
You pursue the criminals who stole from Mumia Sugar na prefect wow.
Apologize or face court action. Kidero tells Khalwale over Mumia's allegations.
There were some spent cartridges in that place. I think the police should do all that it is required.
After Nairobi, now it's Kenyatta University, the puzzle of student murders. And Ngilu's time in the dock, suspended Lance CS denies obstructing investigations.
Welcome to the show. Our sign language interpreter is William Sila. Now, the Center for Rights, Education and Awareness has won round one in the ongoing battle over the 2/3 gender rule as stipulated in the Constitution. The High Court has given the Attorney General the Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution 40 days to prepare legislation on the 2/3 gender rule and have it ready for tabling in Parliament. Justice Mumia Sugar delivered the ruling Friday as the AG's office was accused of dropping the ball on the issue.
In a much-anticipated ruling, High Court Judge Mumia Sugar hit out at both the Attorney General's office and the Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution, CIC. She cited what she called laxity and reluctance in preparing legislation that would ensure the 2/3 gender constitutional requirements.
Its complaint centers on the failure of the AG and CIC to act in accordance with the requirements of Article 261(4), which provides that the AG, in consultation with CIC, quote, shall prepare the relevant bills for tabling before Parliament as soon as reasonably practicable.
She accused the State Law Office of waiting till the last minute to put in place mechanisms of drafting the bill. It is exactly 2 months to the August 27th constitutional deadline set out by a Supreme Court advisory opinion in December 2012. Justice Ngugi ruled that the AG and the CIC had violated their obligation of ensuring the bill was in place in good time.
Equally bound are the respondents. The AG initiated the matter when it saw the advisory opinion of the Supreme Court, while the CIC was an active participant in the proceedings as an interested party.
The Center for Rights, Education and Awareness had filed a petition accusing the AG and CIC of lacking the will to have the legislation ready, and the atmosphere outside the courtroom was abuzz with jubilation.
This is what is called a landmark judgment, and a judgment which has definitely secured the place of the new constitution in our republic.
Justice Mobi Ngugi has delivered a judgment that will speak volumes not only for women in politics, but women in every other sphere of life. So as women, we finally begin to feel like part of this country.
Parliament has also been put on the spotlight on the issue. The National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Chairman Samuel Chepkonga has maintained he will not withdraw his bill that pushes for a progressive realization of the 2/3 gender rule, which would delay its implementation.
The Honorable Attorney General has the bill, so the court has given him 40 days, but I want to advise him that let him file the bill latest next week.
It seems like around one win by women fighting for political inclusion, but the National Assembly could still have the last word, given that Chepkonga's bill on extension has already gone through first reading. Ben Kitili, KTN.
Right, and that question and that story leads us to our big question tonight, and we are asking you, do you think the AG has failed the country by delaying the gender rule? Do you think the Attorney General has failed the country by delaying the gender rule? The number to text in is 22155, but you can also tweet us. The handle on Twitter is #FridayBriefing. We'll be glad to sample your views during the bulletin. And for now, to get more insights on this particular landmark ruling, let me welcome Winnie Luma, the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission. She's joining us from our City Centre studios. Thank you very much, Winnie, for joining us on KTN Friday Briefing.
Thank you.
All right, let me start. Maybe it's a very victorious day for you, and to a large extent, the women of Kenya. What is your feeling on the ruling made today?
The ruling made today has made my day. It's exciting for the women of this country. It's also exciting that the long journey, at least we can see light at the end of the tunnel. It's been many, many months, many, many years. The women of this country historically have suffered injustices in political representation. You know that we've had this debate time and again. The AG did set up a task force. I was privileged to chair that task force. I want to tell Kenyans, and I have said this before, the task force did complete its work. We made various recommendations. We narrowed them to 3, finally to 1, and we gave to the Honorable Attorney General. And reasons why he has not published, I think, is what the court finds are unacceptable and are unreasonable.
Winnie, you know, the question is 40 days actually enough or even realistic for the AG and CIC to actually draft the bill and take it to Parliament?
Betty, the bill is ready. Even tomorrow, it can be published. In fact, as we are talking, after the bill was not published by the AG and CIC as expected by the law, we have given the bill to private members. And this Tuesday, I am advised that the Senate Legal Committee has approved it for publication as a private member's motion. So the bill is ready, very, very ready.
And do you feel there is political will by legislators to actually pass the bill once it goes to Parliament?
I think let's cross the bridge when we get there. In my view, the court says that the AG and CIC have failed to participate in the making of the bill, to present it to Parliament. There was also the mention of the Committee on Implementation of the Constitution of Parliament, and we have not had Honorable Vaia on this matter. I know he called several meetings where I and CS Anwar Guru appeared, and we have not heard from him again. So clearly what the court is saying, the whole process here must be undertaken because it is a constitutional principle. And let me add that none of us is above the Constitution. We all are bound by the Constitution. The Honorable Attorney General went to the Supreme Court seeking an advisory in 2012, December, you remember. The Supreme Court, by majority, did declare that we can delay the implementation of the rule, but by 27th August 2015, we must have the rule in place. So in February 2014, that's last year, the AG put together a team which I was privileged to chair, as I've said. And we worked tirelessly, we went around, we got experts, we asked for the views. And the verdict returned, which the AG was given, is that we must trigger the implementation of that section of the law by amending the Constitution. We then proposed a draft amendment bill, and to date, it has never seen the light. So I hope that the AG will move fast, will obey the court order, and have this bill published as soon as is possible.
And Winnie, maybe finally, looking ahead, do you think Kenyan women are actually ready to take on leadership positions?
Yes, are you doubting? I think the Kenyan women are ready. And going by the example we have around, I believe, in fact, I think one of the biggest challenge we are having is it appears the men are so scared of the women. And I have said time again, no, for us to develop the economy of this country, we need both men and women. So we must embrace that partnership. The Kenyan women, for me, are ready, be it in the political representation, in the economic, in the social sphere, and must be given the opportunity. We already have the principle in the Constitution, and we cannot allow it to be taken away.
All right. Thank you very much, Winnie Luma, the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission. Thank you very much for your insights. Moving on. Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero is demanding an apology from Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale for linking him to Mumia Sugar Company graft. Kidero wants Khalwale to apologize or face legal action through his lawyer Tom Ojenda. Kidero says the senator was driven by malice to say such words about him.
It was a visit by the head of state to the Mumia Sugar Company in Western Kenya, one that many hoped would symbolize light at the end of the tunnel for the cash-strapped sugar company. And indeed, it was. President Uhuru Kenyatta gave the company 1 billion shillings towards its revival. But it's the utterances by some leaders on just who's responsible for crippling the giant sugar company that could now see Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero head to court if the Kakamega senator does not apologize.
Mumia did not just die. I want you, Mr. President, as you consider bringing more money, you pursue the criminals who stole from Mumia na prefect wow.
Kidero is incensed at those remarks by Khalwale uttered in Mumias before President Uhuru Kenyatta that the Nairobi governor was the prefect of the criminals who looted the sugar farm. Kidero's lawyer Tom Ojenda says he is under instructions to institute defamation proceedings against Khalwale if he does not apologize by Monday. Indeed, questions have been raised on just who's responsible for the looting that has now seen the miller indebted to the tune of 6.5 billion shillings. The 1 billion shillings is part of the 5 billion shillings that the factory requires to return to relative financial health.
And I want to be very clear, na tumesema hadhara, ya kwamba pesa ambaye tunatoa, tunataka muhakikishe hiyo mambo ya deni, hakuna mambo ya deni. Mulipe mkulima pesa yake yote, na kama kuna deni ambaye mko naye kwa vitabu yenu, njooni tukae tujue vile tuta write off, na ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba mkulima apate haki yake in total.
The president has urged the anti-graft watchdog and the director of public prosecutions office to urgently investigate the misappropriation of funds which has left Mumias in financial distress. Noah Otieno, KTN Friday Briefing.
Now, barely 6 days after 2 students from the University of Nairobi were killed allegedly by a mob of fellow students, yet another student, this time from Kenyatta University, has lost his life. The 4th-year student was yesterday shot to death inside his house by an unknown assailant. This even as university officials insist that they are not accountable for student safety within and outside campus. KTN's Timothy Otieno with that story.
26-year-old Kevin Omondi is no more. This young man's life was taken away by unknown assailants yesterday at his cubicle in Kahawa Sukari, not too far away from the Kenyatta University's main campus. His close friend and neighbor Vincent Kaudo says it's a murder that has left the entire student fraternity in shock. He tells me that Kevin's body was found lifeless on the floor of his one-bedroom residence shortly after 1 p.m. Thursday. He was shot at close range on the left side of his chest. It is in this specific building and this specific room where Kevin Omondi yesterday was killed in broad daylight. Ironically, no one appears to have seen or had anyone who committed that heinous act.
We are shocked, at least that somebody could do this. If it was normal robbery, then they could have simply overpowered him and took whatever.
Kevin lived in his apartment alone, and his friends say he was not one to make enemies. His brother Fred says the death of their firstborn will leave a huge gap in the family.
Kevin took responsibility, like a mother, like a father. Whenever I had any problem, he would tell me, Fred, do this, this, and this.
This latest killings coming just days after 2 students were killed at University of Nairobi, ironically by fellow students. But what is really ailing comradeship, and why so much death with little justice to follow? Student leaders appear reluctant to delve into the deaths.
I don't know any gang in the University of Nairobi.
Former university leader at Egerton in the mid-1990s, Churchill Suba says unity and comradeship nowadays no longer exist. To what extent are student leaders supposed to be mindful of the welfare and security of fellow students?
It is the responsibility of government to ensure the security of everybody, and it is therefore the responsibility of student leadership to demand that their members and their colleagues, their comrades, are secure wherever they are, whether they're operating from home, whether they are operating from hostels outside the university, or operating within the university.
The Deputy Director of Security at Kenyatta University places responsibility at the hands of another agency.
As much as we are responsible for the security in the university, the major responsibility rests with the National Police Service.
We have already commenced investigation in an effort to establish the motive of the shooting.
The police say nothing was stolen during the midday attack, a claim the family and friends of Kevin refute.
That information is not right, because by the time he died, he had his phone, but now, right now the phone is not there.
But even as speculations continue, the lifeless body of the community resource management student lies at the campus morgue. Kevin was set to graduate just next month. His killers still remain at large. Timothy Otieno, KTN.
Quite an unfortunate incident there. Now, Deputy President William Ruto has told off his critics and advised the youth not to be afraid of fighting hard for what they want to achieve in life. While speaking in Molo, Nakuru County during a fundraising at Kambala Girls, Ruto, using his analogy of life, urged the youth not to be cowed in pursuing their dreams. He advised the youth to take advantage of the development projects at their disposal, such as the NYS Youth Enterprise Fund, among others, to spark prosperity in their lives. The Deputy President has been on the receiving end of criticism from political opponents ever since he confessed to owning shares in the Western Hotel.
Niona hapa mimi nasimama hapa mimi Deputy President. Na mimi ni mtu tu hasla ya dunia hii. Ama namna gani? Kwa hivyo msikuwe na wasiwasi, Kenya hii iko na nafasi ya kila Mkenya.
Sasa hata mimi nimeenda kujenga mkahawa ingine huko Nairobi, wengine wananipigia kelele. Sasa wewe mtu ya kuuza kuku, mbona ulienda kujenga hoteli Nairobi? Nyinyi watu wa Molo mumeambiwa ya kwamba mtu kama ni mfanyabiashara wa kuku hawezi kujenga hoteli? Kama mtu alikuwa anachoma makaa hapa anaweza kujenga hoteli na mtu ya kuku hawezi kujenga hoteli? Achane na sisi hao watu. Bure kabisa. Ama namna gani?
Moving on, suspended Lands Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu has lost her bid to be charged separately over the controversial 134-acre Karen land. Senior Principal Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi ruled that her rights will not be violated if she was to be charged together with former National Social Security Fund Managing Trustee Jose Conzolo and 5 other top officials at the Ministry of Lands. Subsequently, Ngilu took plea denying obstruction of justice charges in the Karen land saga. She was accused of instructing officials at the Lands Ministry to withhold evidence from ethics and anti-corruption investigators. Ngilu argued she could not have hampered the investigations because she was the one who wrote to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over the matter. While ruling on her objections to being tried together with others in the Karen land saga, the magistrate said there was sufficient interconnection of issues to Ngilu.
Shida hata kidogo. Na hata kidogo msinililie. Tutaenda ili kupita ili tuende mbele. Na niko na hakika tutaenda mbele. Sawa sawa.
A leading cybersecurity consultant has urged the government and security agencies to utilize the viral nature of the internet to counter radicalization of the youth. Alex Kioni says violent extremism could be countered by crafting and shaping online messages that attract and resonate with the youth. Patrick Amimo has more.
Terrorism has emerged as one of the leading global threats, with governments making spirited efforts to stop its spread. A group of panelists shared views with delegates attending a regional conference on countering violent extremism. They spoke on how the internet has been used as a tool to recruit and radicalize the youth. The government has equally taken to social media to reach the youth by changing the narrative of extremist groups who are using the internet to spread propaganda and religious extremism. Experts opine the strategy needs to be fine-tuned.
The government measures could reach a much wider swath of youth on more engaging platforms. By using only religious figures as messengers, I think these efforts are short-sighted and they discount all other online influences that impress upon the youth and what they're after and what shapes their perceptions.
It was noted that though terror groups use the internet to recruit, they rarely coordinate their activities via electronic mail.
You notice they operate in autonomous cells, specifically to remove the need to communicate between cells. So that if you take down one cell, you leave the rest of the organization intact. So the coordination and communication role of the internet has diminished to almost nothing.
Curiously, terrorist groups have of late become excited to post videos of their activities on YouTube. Terrorists are now using cyberspace warfare to apparently cover for losses in the battlefield.
They've got 4 objectives. 1, they're trying to create fear, right? So that you don't want to go to the mall, you don't want to go to a dance hall, you don't want to go to a pub, because you might come under attack. 2, they want to create uncertainty, right? About who should do what when. You have people running around not knowing what to do. And the third thing is, they seek to inculcate in the general population a doubt about the capacity, competence, and commitment of the security services and the government to protect you as an individual. 4th, they're trying to make you feel vulnerable. Right? What does vulnerability do? You don't know whether or not to buy that house in Nairobi, really.
The internet has become the youth's best friend. They use it for social networking through creation of online communities. They also download videos and music and other attractive literature online. Agencies seeking to counter violent extremism have been challenged to use the power of the internet by shaping messages that resonate with the youth to cushion them from negative propaganda.
When you go online to some of these forums, if you're 50 years old and you're in a youth forum, there's a certain language and there's a certain lingo that you will not be able to understand. So if you're 50 years old and you're from law enforcement and you cannot even discuss what or pick up the lingo that is being used, you quickly stand out. And they lose interest in you and they actually block you. Utilize the viral nature of the internet by having your audience perpetuate the message, making the message positive and spreading it out to the youth. Then they actually pick it up and spread it amongst themselves. Let's also develop a process to continually tailor and shape messages to address the changing needs of the target audience. We all know the youth is very dynamic. The internet is very dynamic. It's changing from day to day. What might be hip today, tomorrow is gone.
This regional conference is expected to come up with a raft of recommendations that will inform policy on counter-terrorism. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Yeah, you almost caught us starting to dance. Wow. Lovely song. Wow, lovely song. I love it.
You do, eh?
I actually do.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I believed you.
Who wrote it, by the way? I mean, what was going through your mind when you're writing this song?
Mr. V actually wrote it. You know Mr. V?
Of course I do.
Yeah,
Mr. V, yeah. Quite popular.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So he's actually written so many songs for so many people. So I asked him, we actually were just chatting, then, write me a song. But when he wrote it, I was like, this is amazing, because I think what gospel is about is Jesus, the sacrifice that he made.
Exactly.
And so the thing that we should be most grateful for is the sacrifice that he made for us as Christians. Yes.
So he wrote it and you went through it and you're like, this is the song. This is the song.
Yes. I actually tell him he should give me his songs, I sing for him. I'll do a better job. And I'm not praying that I like his style of writing.
All right.
Yes.
And when you're singing, there's so much soul in it.
Yeah.
That means you really felt the words.
Yeah.
How important is it for you as an artist, what you put out there? Is it just that, this song could be a potential hit, or is it more about the message?
Yeah. Well, I think as gospel, it's not so much about the hit song, I think it's more...
Maybe to you, because I would say, I don't know, for some other artists, it looks like it's a bit different.
Yeah. For me, it is, what is God saying? Because I download it from, what is it that God wants to be downloaded right now in the spirit, So for me, I prefer to please God more, to hear what God is saying and would want me to sing. Basically that.
All right.
And walking, with the Holy Spirit. Yes.
Then he guides you into
Yes, he
it.
does. Yes,
All right.
he does.
And the interesting thing, I don't know if, our viewers know that you're actually a pastor's, what we call pastor's kid, PK.
Yes. Yes. I actually graduated.
Oh, you actually graduated?
Yeah,
what
bishop's kid.
Oh, okay.
I
so
did.
now it's PK. BK.
Yeah, PK.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
Yes, so how was that? It was... it had its challenges, but one thing I totally admire is the fact that that generation of my dad is Bishop Masika. They sacrificed for the gospel. Like recently he was saying 90% of his salary would go into ministry, and I was like, oh my gosh, us we want to be paid.
Yes.
Tunataka kabahasha.
Yes.
But those guys were sacrificing for the they say they were spending and being spent for the gospel.
All right.
And so it was amazing growing in people who sacrifice and love Jesus. Every weekend, they were preaching, as I was growing up. And so, yes, it was amazing. It had its own challenges because, we never lacked, but God provided. Of course, there were times you didn't have enough clothes, you didn't have, but we never lacked. We never slept hungry.
And
God was faithful. And I've seen how God rewards men of God.
All right.
Through my parents.
Through your parents.
Yes.
And them preaching and being in the ministry, was that the place where you felt, or you started singing, or how did you come to know that you can actually hit those high notes that you just did when you were starting?
I started singing when I was a kid. My mom was a singer. She sang "Sing and Shine" when you were like,
yes.
Okay, you were
please.
born. Okay, not even. Yes, so she sang the theme song. Then, of course, when we were going for missions, we would sing. She'd play the
so
guitar.
So you were actually going with them?
Yes,
wow.
Sometimes when they would allow us.
All right.
So she would play the guitar. I sing along, and it would be amazing.
And you sang In Joy Bringers?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Like Joy Bringers was that program
I was a
that
superstar
my
in school,
parents loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I also liked it with the Kasangas and everyone else.
Yeah.
So you actually sang there.
Yeah, true.
At 12, was it at
11?
At 11 years.
Yeah.
What gave you that confidence? You know, you can actually do it on TV because, you know, at that time, you know.
I think when you're a kid, you dream.
Yeah.
So I had so many dreams and I had to make them a reality. Yes. so any kid should dream and make your dreams a reality at whatever age.
And at what age would you say, or at what point would you say was your breakthrough? Because I mean, the gospel industry is not a very easy industry. You know, at what point did you just break through and have the success that you now have?
Okay, it has had, of course, seasons.
The bumps.
Yes, yes. I think Amo Komete Amukai.
Yes, I remember
was the
that
song.
One.
Yeah.
Amo Komete Amukai.
Yeah. And then you know the whole.
Yeah, and then you know, yeah, I know that comes. No. We'll just do it again.
Amo Komete Amukai. Amo Komete Amukai.
I remember
Amukai. Yeah. So that was it. That was 2003 somewhere there. I was in campus then, and so yeah, that was I think the breakthrough. That's when I came out because my dad would allow me to go out there because I'm not so in school. Yeah, and then after that, Milele.
Yes. Oh, that song.
Yes.
Please sing it. Just sing a bit for us.
A bit, eh?
I love that song. I play it a lot.
You do?
Yes. Actually, my home manager, she knows I love that song.
Your home manager?
Oh, yes, my
home
manager.
Nataka kukaa na wewe Mungu siku za maisha yangu, nataka wewe nikuimbie Yesu milele hata milele. Yeah.
Wow, you have such an amazing voice. Do you practice a lot?
Do I?
Oh, it comes naturally.
No, I sing. I think every day I'm singing. I don't call it practice, but every day I'm singing.
All right.
But I think I did a lot of that when I was a teenager, because I remember do Kesha's trying to get something in someone's voice, like if they do, I'm like trying to get that.
Yes.
I'd find it's already 5 in the morning. I'm really trying to.
And you're really trying.
Yes. Yes.
And then Masi, you know, there's a time. I've actually remember there's a time that you really went off for so many years, or I don't know if it's 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
What had happened in that period of time when you completely went silent?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I took a break. I hadn't plotted to take the break, but you know, it just happened that way. This stuff happened, so I had to take a break, and then the break was good. I had to grow, you know. God was taking me through a school.
All right.
I think He does that to everybody.
To everyone.
Yes.
All right. So it was just a moment to
reflect.
To
grow. I went back to school. Got kids.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, they're so
Your
cute.
husband is really, honestly, he's quite a gentleman.
He is. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. Okay. I'm watching my words.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yes.
So when did you guys meet? How has it been for you? You're in the limelight. How does he take it?
Yeah, he's supportive. He actually believes in me sometimes more than I believe in myself.
Really?
He's amazing. We met in a wedding. I was singing. He was taking video camera, and then we met, and then the rest is history.
And then the rest is history.
Yes.
He saw you, you saw him, and the rest is history.
Long story, but it's very short.
All right.
Yes.
And the kids, how many kids do you have?
I have 2 now. Yes.
A girl?
Girl and boy.
Girl and a boy.
Beautiful. The girl is going to be a singer. Even the boy.
You're going to force it on them?
No. We're just going to make them sing.
You're going to make them sing.
Yeah.
All right, fine. So finally I want to ask, you know, given a chance, what is it that you would change in Kenya's gospel music industry today?
Okay. Woo! We have lots of people. I think there are people, like in every family, there are people who are serious and them who are, you know, in between.
Yeah.
So
cold. It's either you're hot or cold.
Yes, lukewarm.
Lukewarm. So they're lukewarm.
Yeah. But what I change is I wish people would be more hot. Yeah, you could be, you know, really, if you're gospel, be gospel. If you ain't, you know, just
Yes.
Be you ain't.
Okay.
You know. And so what I wish is, I wish there would be more heart, you know, stuff to do with if your kingdom be kingdom, if your Holy Spirit be Holy Spirit, as in if you're totally in gospel, sing the gospel, because it's a thin line, you know, because sometimes people have fleshly dreams, you know, those dreams of I want to be, you know, I want to be a superstar, but with gospel it's not about being a superstar, it's about representing Jesus on earth.
All right. And what do you think about this confrontations, you know, that's a polite word, that we're seeing right now with artists, you know, allegedly stealing each other's songs, or, you know, fighting over this and that. I mean, do you think that is painting the, you know, the Kenyan gospel industry in bad light? And what can be done?
You see, those are just a few.
Those are just a few.
Why do you pick the few? Well, there are others. You know, you won't hear others. You know, there are people who were singing right and living right. It's just that, you know, I think the younger generation are bound to make mistakes. And so they will make their mistakes, but we have to forgive them. But to say Metuni, they're growing.
They're growing.
Yes.
And we pray that they grow faster.
God has a way, you know. I'm looking at some of the people that we started singing with, you know, in 2003 when gospel music, some of them were so hyper, so lost in their heads, you know, with the hype and everything. But right now they're grounded.
They're grounded.
God has a way.
All right. God has a way.
Of getting you.
Of getting you.
Yes, you can't run. You can run, but you can't hide.
You can't hide. And that's the same case. You can run, but you cannot hide tonight. Let's go and, you know, see if you can have. You can actually read the news. Do you think you can actually do it?
I can do all things.
Exactly. I love that. There you go with a snap. Sit there.
All right.
With all the confidence. Let's see.
Like
Let's
you?
see. No.
I usually do like this. Something like this. Let's go.
Masi,
that's confidence.
Who reads the news like this?
I don't know.
I read the news like that.
No, I saw you right now and I'm like, gee, that's confidence.
Okay, fine. You can borrow a little bit of that.
All right.
So we want you to introduce that story there.
All right.
It's also there. This is backup, but we want you to look there into the camera.
Is it good news?
It's very good news, actually. If you don't cry when you read this, I don't know.
I don't have a heart.
Yes, exactly. So introduce yourself.
Yes.
And then, you know, you go, girl.
You know, the way I know is praise the Lord. My name is Masi Masika. I'm reading your news. So I go. All right. A brave teenage mother managed to keep herself and her infant son alive after a deadly plane crash. Their plane went down in the dense jungles of western Colombia. 5 days passed before the Air Force found them. CNN senior Latin American Affairs editor Rafael Romo has been following this remarkable story.
When rescuers found the crashed Cessna 303 in the jungle, the morning after the crash, one of the first things they noticed was that the cockpit was destroyed. Pilot Carlos Mario Ceballos was found dead at the scene, but the cabin was remarkably intact. 2 passengers, a 19-year-old mother and her infant son, were missing. It took rescuers 5 days to find them both alive. When they were rescued Wednesday, Maria Nelly Murillo had a broken ankle and multiple burns she suffered while taking her son out of the burning plane, according to officials. Her 5-month-old baby boy, Yudier Murillo Moreno, was uninjured. But why did it take so long to find them? Authorities say the plane crashed in a dense jungle about 30 miles or 48 kilometers away from Nuquí Airport, the location where the flight originated. It was bound for Quibdó, a city also in the northwestern Colombian province of Chocó. Another question is, how were the mother and her son able to survive without any help in the jungle? Authorities say the mother, who was still breastfeeding the baby, remained hydrated by drinking coconut water. Officials also say the mother left several traces, including the baby's birth certificate, so that it would be easier for rescuers to find them. Rodrigo Zapata, the Colombian Air Force colonel who led the rescue mission, told CNN they have a lot of respect for this mother because of her courage and efforts to keep her baby and herself alive. She survived because she never gave up, Zapata said. She used the little food they had wisely. This is a very special rescue case for us. She's a very strong and brave woman. Zapata confirmed both survivors were flown by helicopter to a hospital in Quibdó. They will be flown to a larger hospital in Medellin where doctors have more resources to treat the mother's injuries.
A beautiful story right there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you did so well.
I did, eh?
But the problem is you read too fast.
I did.
You know, news reading is like, you know, you're telling a story. Now let me take you to school because you took me to school with your music.
Okay.
All right, so, you know, news reading is like you're telling a story. It's like you're sitting with your friend and telling them, hey, do you know, like, there was a brave teenager mother who managed to keep us. You know, you're telling
Do you know,
a story.
I don't even know what I read.
Okay, so she needs a lot of classes, I can see. But I think you did well. I'll give you 5 out of 10.
No, give me 6.
5. Just 5.
6. My English was okay.
5.
Okay.
All right. So you can also rate Masi. Tell us what you think or how you think she did and fared.
Yeah.
The hashtag is Friday Briefing. We'd love to hear your comments. But for now, what do we do?
We will take a break. Stay tuned. Okay?
And a good evening. Welcome to KTN Business. My name is Abi Agina. Let's take a look at what's been making headlines in the world of business. Dr. Patrick Njoroge Ngugi has formally been appointed as the new Central Bank of Kenya governor by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Parliament last week approved his nomination by the president after a short vetting process. Dr. Ngugi takes over from Professor Njuguna Ndongo, whose term expired at the end of March. Also appointed to the bank is Sheila Bijiwe, who comes in as the second deputy governor, joining Dr. Haron Sirima, who is also retained as deputy governor. Mohamed Nyaoga will take up his post as CBK board chairman. Dr. Njoroge will hit the ground running with the Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled for July 7th. At the last meeting, the MPC hiked the benchmark lending rate to 10% in an effort to stabilize the shilling. That move is yet to be felt in the market, with the shilling even further closing the day at 98 shillings and 42 cents against the dollar. And moving on, State House spokesman Manoa Esipisu has lauded the upcoming visit by U.S. President Barack Obama, noting it is a vote of confidence for Kenya. Obama will be visiting the country later on in the month of July, where he'll be attending the Global Entrepreneurship Summit here in Kenya.
In the terrain of global politics, Kenya matters. That our stature in regional diplomacy, economy, and technological innovation cannot be ignored. The visit by President Obama is to hold bilateral meetings with his host, President Kenyatta, and to co-chair the 6th Global Entrepreneurship Summit, which is another big win for our country. This summit offers the country opportunities to exchange high-level views and ideas between global business leaders and entrepreneurs, and strengthen its bilateral relations to promote foreign investment and innovation in the country.
Well, indeed, a lot of speculation about what will happen when the president comes, especially on the economy. It is time to shift focus from the lifting of the travel ban by the United Kingdom and concentrate on improving your tourism product. That is the message of UK High Commissioner Dr. Christian Turner to Kenyan hoteliers. Turner, who graced the 13th edition of the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers Conference, said Kenya now has the real opportunity to widen its scope and market its tourism destination. KTN's Francis Ontomwa attended the conference and brings us this report.
At the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers Conference in Mombasa, a rare visitor in the name of British High Commissioner Dr. Christian Turner made an appearance, coming hot on the heels of celebration after his country lifted a travel ban on Kenya 2 weeks ago. But there are misconceptions that need to be ironed out.
Is not political, it's not economic, it's based on one thing alone, and that's security assessment. There is no ban against Kenya, no universal ban, and advice is just that. It's advice, advising British nationals, which they of course can choose to ignore because we don't enforce it.
The governor of Mombasa, Ali Hassan Joho, has been heavily lobbying for the removal of the ban and took this chance to reassure his government's commitment to restoring security in the coastal city as a key to bringing back tourism activity.
The county government shall launch phase 2 of patrol vehicles.
Although the lifting of the ban appears to have excited several quarters, experts within the tourism industry are however holding cards close to the chest and agreeing that there still exist numerous hurdles that needs redress.
The challenge that we face
big time is how will these will-be clients, anybody planning to come to Mombasa, how will they get here? Which in our business we call it, accessibility. How will they come here?
There's always virgin source markets that you can go to. There's business to be got. I mean, for example, we've now kept alive because of domestic market.
The tourism players now want the East African governments to open the regional airspace to outside markets, especially to allow for direct flights to Mombasa. They also point out the cost of traveling as one that has been inhibitive.
I hope the report of the task force is soon acted on and published.
In the 2015-2016 fiscal budget, the government allocated 5.2 billion Kenyan shillings towards recovery of the tourism sector. Over the last 2 years, the sector's contribution to the economy has declined as most visitors from UK and US kept away from Kenya on fears of insecurity. Even aside from the lifting of the ban, it is becoming clear that the plate is already full for stakeholders in the coastal circuit, and the real test will be swimming against the currents and repackaging the product. Francis Ontomwa, KTN, at the White Sands Beach Resort, Mombasa.
Many thanks there, Francis Ontomwa. Keeping an eye on the developments in the tourism industry. Of course, it's more of a wait-and-see approach from hoteliers. Moving on, Africa's economy grew by 3.9% in 2014 compared to 3.7% in 2013, further strengthening a growth trajectory that has been registered in recent years. According to Continent's Economic Report for 2015 compiled by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, this was driven by improved macroeconomic management and diversified trade and investment ties. However, despite the growth, the continent that continues to perform poorly in job creation at an average rate of 2.9% from 1991 to 2012. Charles Gitonga with the details.
The narrative about Africa rising has dominated economic forums world over in recent past, and statistics are not in conflict. This year's economic report by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and Kenya Institute of Public Policy Research and Analysis, KIPRA, shows that the continent registered a growth of 3.9% last year, and the momentum will be sustained in the short and medium term. The irony in Africa's progress, however, is the mismatch between economic growth and social development. The coexistence of poverty and high unemployment with robust growth continues to raise alarm among economists and policymakers. In the period between 1991 to 2012, employment in Africa grew at an average rate of 2.9%. This compared to the rising population in the continent, employment to population ratio worsened from 61.3% in 1991 to 1995 to 62.6% in 2006 to 2012. The report also notes that more jobs are being created in the informal sector due to limited ability to generate well-paying jobs in the formal sector. This mirrors data from Kenya's Economic Survey 2015, which reported that the informal sector employed 11.8 million people in 2014 against 2.4 million in the formal sector. The Economic Report on Africa observed labor force movement from agriculture to industry and services over the last decade, though not quick enough to reduce youth unemployment. It further suggests that African countries should develop trade policies that promote job-rich sectors such as agriculture and manufacturing.
The report does actually argue that African countries, and here Kenya included, need first of all to be very careful in how they negotiate the trade agreements, be it at the multilateral level, with bilateral partners, and also at the regional level.
Charles Gitonga, KTN Business Today.
Right, it's that time that we all love. I think the best class we've had ever since 844 education or any other. So let me bring in our word master, none other than Willis Ochieng. Willis, it's great to see you this Friday. How are you doing?
Betty, I'm fine, and I hope you're doing good in the city.
We're doing very well. Willis, I want us to start with my favorite part of this segment, Word on the Street. Let's get to hear what Kenyans had to say this week.
Mostak.
Entrepreneuria. Entrepreneuria. Entrepreneuria.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurial. Prenarius. Entreprenarius.
Entrepreneurial. 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 Entrepreneurial.
Entrepreneuria. Entrepreneuria. Entrepreneuria.
Prenarius. Entreprenarius. Entreprenarius.
Right, Willis. That's another tongue. I don't know if to call it a tongue twister. That's a serious word right there. I don't even want to try to pronounce it. Please take us through that.
Betty, such long words, we call them mouthfuls. Mouthfuls. And the correct pronunciation of that word is entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurial, but somebody can also say entrepreneurial. So, narial, nurial.
The second one is very difficult. I don't even think I can do that. So I'll go with the first one, entrepreneurial. That's right?
That is the British pronunciation of that word.
Right.
Entrepreneurial.
Entrepreneurial. And then we also say entrepreneur. Is that right?
No, we would say entrepreneur.
Okay.
An entrepreneur, entrepreneurial.
All right.
Or nurial is also allowed.
All right, got it, Willis. That's a serious mouthful right there. Let's go to another word. Do we say alarm or alarm? Where is the stress?
We say alarm, alarm, alarm. Just like alert, alert. Not alarm, not alert.
All right.
Alarm, alert.
Okay, got it, Willis. Now, I want to take you back to a word that we've done maybe once or twice on the show, but I've gotten a lot of questions about these two words. First of all, do we say apple or apple? And also, do we say tomato or tomato?
We say apple and apple. It begins with letter A. That is the name of the letter, but the sound in that word is apple or apple. Then we say tomato, tomato. Though the North Americans may talk of tomato, but the correct or acceptable pronunciation of that word is tomato.
Tomato. Got it, Willis, got it. Now, I want us to talk about a word that over the week when we were talking, you said it and I was very surprised. Government. You said government. Instead of government, what we are used to, government, you say government? Is that correct?
Betty, many people say government.
Yes.
Government. Some even say government, government.
Yes.
You know, those who like swallowing words. Government, like company. But it's not correct to say that. We say government, government, government. So that we have the meaning there, govern.
All right.
Yes.
Government. That's a surprise for, I'm sure, for many of us. Government, not government. Got it, Willis? Now, I know this will almost annoy you. This word swag, I bring it again. I always like to bring it. But we've been hearing a lot of Twitter, computer, maybe, to be a bit, stylish in the way to pronounce these words. Willis, tell us correctly, how do we pronounce
Betty,
those words?
pronunciations are not, pronunciations are not about style. If anything, the purpose of language is communication.
Okay.
And getting the pronunciations right is important more than the styles. So whether we hear of Twitter, Wara, computer, Lera, Maiswera, and all that, we should avoid those.
All right.
Twitter, not Twitter. And I know Chantel, Brighton, and Austin also asked me about that same word.
Okay.
We say Twitter, not Twitter.
Not Twitter. All right, Willis, let's move on to another serious word here. Kleptomaniac, kleptomaniac. This maniac, do you say maniac, maniac? Take us through that, Willis.
We say maniac.
Okay.
Maniac.
All right.
Mania, mania. So we say kleptomaniac, not kleptomaniac.
Okay. Let's move on to our feedback question very quickly. We have Neema Ngesa. Now, she had an argument with her mom, Mildred Ngesa, about this word. Do we say appreciation or appreciation, Willis?
Appreciation. Appreciation. Just like abbreviation, not abbreviation. Not appreciation. Appreciation.
Appreciation.
Yes.
Appreciation. Got it, Willis.
Yes.
Same as negotiation. Is that correct?
Yeah, negotiation.
All right,
negotiation.
got it. I'm learning these things, Willis. Okay, Willis, finally, let's have your surprise word, Willis. You talked about government. Is there any other in your bag?
Well, Betty, many people talk about religion. You hear people saying religion.
Yes.
Mostly locally. That word should be pronounced like that. We say John.
Okay.
John. So the pronunciation is religion. Religion.
Religion.
Yes.
Got it, Willis. Is it also religious? Religious?
Religious. Yes, not yes. We don't have a glide there. Religious
or religious.
Religion.
All right. Religious. Religion.
Yes.
Got it, Willis.
There you are.
Willis, always a pleasure having you on the show. I love your language, of course, and your pronunciations, same as so many other Kenyans out there. We really appreciate what you do here on Friday Briefing, Willis.
My pleasure, Betty, and as I always say, I think nowadays they see my Twitter right on the screen, so it's at Willis Ochieng 1.
All right, Willis Ochieng coming to us from Kisumu County with those very troublesome, sometimes tricky, mouthful pronunciations. You can always get him right here on Friday Briefing.
An action-packed and sport day it has been. A very good evening and welcome to today's edition of KTN Sports. My name is Moses Wahisi. Starting us off, the much-awaited Football Kenya Federation annual general meeting was aborted in Kisii, and that's after FKF chairman Sam Nyamwa called it off, citing lack of security at the venue. However, Gucha OCPT played those claims down in an event that saw the Soccer Supremo heckled by some delegates, who later held a consultative meeting where they deliberated on forming a 7-member caretaker committee to bring the delegates and the national body together. Our very own Victor Gale witnessed the confusion and filed the following report.
After the recent corruption allegations leveled against World Football Governing Body FIFA, and more especially after President Sepp Blatter announced he was planning to step down, the writing was on the wall for those who for many years have supported the 79-year-old Swiss. Football Kenya Federation Chairman Sam Nyamwa, a close ally of Blatter, was said to face a hostile group during the Federation's annual general meeting in Kisii on Friday. As early as 8 a.m., delegates and other soccer stakeholders had converged for the meeting in Kisii County. The advanced group appeared to have been waiting to scuttle the meeting since when Nyamwa arrived with his group. This prompted the national chairman to call for the exit of the advanced team, which, as it later emerged, had evaded the security arrangements. Nyamoya called for fresh vetting, but that plea fell on deaf ears.
We have no problem.
After consulting his national executive members, he opted to call off the EGM, citing lack of security. He further announced that a meeting will be held in 7 days to see when the AGM will be called.
We are meant to understand that the people will invade this AGM.
The writing is on the wall. You cannot bring to us to your own.
What you have seen is a flouting of our constitution. Our constitution does not allow an AGM to be called off on the grounds of insecurity.
The security we have provided is enough.
Nyamoya came into office in November 2011, and his re-election in November will face immense competition from Kariobangi Sharks founder Nick Mwendwa, among other soccer stakeholders. To the delegates that turned up for the annual general meeting, felt this was a wasted day as they had to leave without having discussed any agenda of the AGM, despite this being an electioneering year. Victor Ugale, KTN, the county of Kisii.
To matters rugby now, only one change has been made in the Kenya national 15th rugby team that plays Tunisia in a must-win Africa Cup qualifying match on Sunday. Top prize Nakuru back row Michael Okombe joins the team after missing out in the match against Zimbabwe, where Kenya lost 20-28.
It is victory or down to the lower tie in Africa Rugby for Kenya Simba on Sunday. After losing to Zimbabwe in the first round of the Africa Group 1A, Kenya must beat Tunisia, who visit Nairobi with a huge appetite for victory after losing to Namibia. Kenya had climbed up the ladder after beating Portugal in a friendly, but dropped to position 30 with 54 points. But the determination of the Tusker-sponsored Simba is at an all-time high, despite the North Africans having a better head-to-head record against Simba.
It is a must situation for Kenya, a must-win situation for Kenya. So whether we like it or not, we've got to make sure with our determinations, by the end of the game, that is the 8th minute, Kenya has won the game.
It's a very big game for us because it's a must-win, and I believe in my boys. Everyone is ready. We have no injuries.
The team wants the 12-man support on Sunday at the Rugby Football Union grounds.
Kenyans, we appeal to you to come and give you. We've never let you down, and on Sunday we want to make sure everybody is happy by the end of the day.
We encourage all the Kenyans to come and watch us play. We know we can't do this without you guys. Your support is really great, and this is our forte.
Strathmore Leos Brian Nyukuli will captain Simba as Michael Okombe makes a comeback into the team. KCB has 8 players in the team, while Top Fry Nakuru contributed 5 forwards. Impala Saracens has 3 players in the squad named on Friday, while Kenya Harlequins has 2. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
Kenya will meet our rivals Algeria for the second time in as many days during the FIVB World Grand Prix. The Malkia Strikers are in Group 3 with Algeria, Australia, Colombia, Cuba, Kazakhstan's host Mexico and Peru. Kenya, which won the African title in Nairobi for the 9th time last weekend, plays Peru tomorrow. Algeria, who Kenya defeated to retain the African title, have been regular participants in the Grand Prix since the year 2013. After the Mexico Challenge, Kenya will fly to Algeria next week for the next group of matches, where they will take on Algeria, Mexico and Australia, before heading to Austria for the final leg scheduled between the 10th of July to the 12th.
Welcome back. Let's have a review of our big question tonight before we get back to our guest anchor, the lovely Masi Masika. And we had asked you, do you think the AG has failed the country by delaying the gender rule? That was our big question tonight. Do you think the AG has failed the country by delaying the gender rule? Let me read a number of views here. The AG has failed women and the country when the legislature makes laws that are nullified in court speaks volumes. I wonder why nobody is calling for his resignation or removal. That's Andrew in Nairobi. Someone with a differing opinion here says, no, women should fight for political positions and compete for appointments through interviews rather than wait to receive the positions on a silver platter. Another differing opinion here says, yes, the AG has professionally failed Kenya. Given a half chance, Kenyan women can make this country a better place and develop economy that is now, as opposed to men's promises of double-digit economy that is mere vapor. That's Dixon in Nakuru. Thank you very much for all your comments.
Our DNA matches our new attitude to make positive change to your lives with everything we do. Welcome to Fidelity Insurance. Insurance you can trust.
Right, let me bring in the lovely Masi Masika. It has been really, really amazing having you in studio.
Yeah.
I think you should come back.
Yeah, I should. You should call me back.
Do you think you would come and read news again?
Yes, slowly.
Slowly,
yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
All right, so many of our viewers have asked that you sing Mwema, and because we don't have time, let's do the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah?
Let's do When you do that, you're spoiling your voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not really to make it better?
No.
To clear it?
Okay, fine. No,
Okay, fine.
no.
All right.
Okay, let's go. Na siwezi jizuia kusema wako wema. Very good. Na sio kama najigamba.
Umenitenda.
Umenitenda mema.
Umenitenda mema.
Very good. Tuimbe sasa.
Okay.
Na siwezi jizuia kusema wako wema. Na sio kama najigamba. Umenitenda mema. Umekuwa mwema kwangu.
Yeah.
Sidio?
I love it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
You're nice.
We'd make a good team.
Yeah, we would.
All right. So thank you very much for watching Friday Briefing. We now leave you with the lovely, lovely song and tunes of Masi Masika, Milele for that matter, my favorite. My name is Betty Kyalo. Do have yourself a lovely weekend. And you are?
And I'm Masi Masika Mugoro. Have a lovely weekend. Kwa karibu